Most flowers borrow the temperature of the air, but a few do something that sounds more like animal physiology. They make their own heat. In a philodendron inflorescence, the flower's chamber can become tens of degrees warmer than its surroundings, right when beetles need to arrive. So, why spend precious food energy on a heater? First, this is not one giant petal. It is an inflorescence, a hood-like spathe wrapped around a column called the spadix. The spadix carries thousands of tiny florets in different zones. Female florets sit low, sterile male florets form a middle region, and fertile male florets release pollen later. The spathe is architecture. The spadix is where the reproductive work and much of the heat happens. In an ordinary mitochondrion, electron flow is coupled to making ADP, the cell's spendable energy currency. Thermogenic floral tissue can push most of that flow through an alternative oxidase pathway, or AOX. AOX bypasses some energy-conserving steps. The plant still consumes food and oxygen, but less of that chemical energy is captured as ADP. More leaves the tissue as heat. In Philodendron bipinnatophytum, AOX carried more than 90% of respiratory flux at peak heating. The result is not just a flash of warmth. Sacred lotus flowers can hold their floral chamber around 30 to 36 degrees Celsius for 2 to 4 days, even while the surrounding air moves from roughly 10 to 45 degrees. As the air cools, heat production rises. As the flower reaches its working range, respiration is inhibited. It is a biochemical feedback loop, not a universal thermostat shared by every flower. Warmth also changes what escapes from the chamber. Volatile scent molecules leave warm tissues more readily, so a heat pulse can amplify an odor plume. In Magnolia sprengeri, heat production, floral volatile release, and insect visitation rose and fell together across flowering stages. That is a strong association, not proof that heat alone called every insect in. Color, shape, scent, timing, and food rewards travel as a bundle. For a beetle, temperature is an energy budget. In the nature study of Philodendron solomosans, Cyclocephala colaceae beetles needed 2 to 4.8 times more energy for activity outside the flower than inside its warm chamber. The flower is not feeding them unlimited calories. It is making rest, feeding, and mating cheaper by reducing the cost of staying warm. The timing makes the exchange safer. On the first phase, the female florets are receptive and beetles enter, feed, and shelter. Later, the male florets release pollen. When the chamber closes, the beetles leave carrying that pollen to another flower. Heat, scent, food, shelter, and the order of sexual stages all point to the same brief visit. Eastern skunk cabbage shows why one function is not enough. Its spadix can stay about 30 degrees above the surroundings while it flowers in cold early spring. That warmth may protect reproductive tissue and help spread scent while early pollinators are scarce. The physical ability is clear. The evolutionary payoff is a combination, not a single slogan. The measurements are straightforward: a tissue temperature, an oxygen consumption pathway, an energy comparison, or a visitation pattern. The interpretation is one step later. Perhaps heat attracts a pollinator, rewards it, protects the flower, or helps release scent. Different species can support different parts of that chain. A warm flower is evidence of thermogenesis, not automatic proof of one universal purpose. So the careful answer is this: some flowers spend respiratory energy to create heat. That heat creates a warmer floral habitat, changes chemical signals, lowers a visitor's warming cost, and helps coordinate pollen transfer. The flower is not pretending to be an animal. It is using the same raw currency, food and oxygen, to reshape a tiny ecological meeting place. When you meet the next hot flower claim, ask 4 questions. What tissue heats? How is the heat made? What does the pollinator actually do? And which part is still an evolutionary hypothesis?